And welcome back, folks. Here we are, ready to get underway with the third game in this best of three between Vega Squadron, the final tribe. Both of them hoping to keep their dreams alive of not only going to the minor, potentially the major if they can win at that minor. But they've got obstacles. They've won. First of all, they got to beat the crap out of the other here. And then they got to dance to the arena of NIP and come out standing. And Nahaz, that's a tall order. I mean, it could go either way in this series, let alone, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is just a gut check game for both of these squads. They played a lot of games a few days with the major and the minor qualifiers. They faced off against each other multiple times. It was a 2-1 win that carried Final Tribe into the playoff phase of that major qualifier in this same region. And once again, the two teams with their lives on the line. You gotta, as Final Tribe, feel like you just gave one away, because I think you had plenty of space at the end of that game to draw it out. Yes, you have to worry about controlling the split push of the Mater AM, but you take that big Roche fight, expend the buybacks on the Terrorblade and several other heroes, and then choose to force the issue behind a DD room in the steps of the Dire base, and they make you pay for it. The game ends and you're left looking at each other. Well, how do you come back in this one?
Well, they start by banning out a lot of offlanes. They're trying to starve off Kezu, and he identifies it and immediately picks himself a hero to open this draft.
Yeah, I mean, Beastmaster is... I am unsure about this first phase Oracle. I'm not even sure about the first phase AM. I am definitely sure about the first phase Beastmaster. This hero can pressure the map, very easy to play, gives you a BKB breaker, the vision coming out from the Hawk. And I really like this first item Vlad's build that we've been seeing more and more on the 3-position beasts to facilitate really all of that utility.
Absolutely, and Aura hero by default, because he already has the attack speed built in, really enables his early Roches, and TFT, very reasonable opener of Lich. You can combine this with a lot of different lanes. They do go back to the Terrorblade again.
Okay. I think it was a great reply in the last draft when you saw the anti-mage. They had first overall pick, so they had the 4th pick in the draft, and they had already seen the anti-mage when they brought the Terrorblade on board. I'm less wild about it as a first phase hero here.
Of course, we do see Vega pick up the Keep of the Light. That did cause them a lot of problems in the last game. The Will-O-Wisp placements are pretty on point. I think you could agree.
Yeah, and one of the differences too is you also saw the Rubik, okay? And so you knew as the Terrorblade, one of the things that we talk about when you have discussions with pro players about Terrorblade is we talk about side lane control. We talk about, can this Terrorblade just keep those side lanes pushed out with his illusions at no risk? And seeing the Rubik AM open, that's a perfect avenue for Terrorblade to be able to control a wide area of the map. Already, though, now having the Beastmaster and Coddle on the side of Vega Squadron, they're going to be able to keep the lanes pushed against a TB a lot easier than the first two heroes in the previous draft.
Be interested to see how this progresses. Of course, the Vega Squadron seemingly likely locking in the Beastmaster's offlaner. In fairness, though, we have seen this ran in the support role as well.
Sure.
So
I mean, you know,
more flexibility.
No Tail showed it off, and they ended up picking did OG in the previous series, another hero with great single target BKB piercing lockdown in the Batrider. It's just the raw utility of the Beastmaster. I still think he's much stronger in the 3-position role, but if the draft calls for it, sure, slide him over.
Even slide him in the 4, I believe it was NIP running on Saxa. It's definitely a hero that is. It feels like that and Brewmaster are probably the ideal openers if you're looking towards something that could be a core as well. Then we'll close this out. The Timbersaw ban is an intriguing one from the side of Vega.
Yeah, especially given that you're the team without the Terrorblade. Timbersaw, at least in the past, thought about as a hero that plays well against TB. And if you mentioned the Brewmaster, I think that's certainly the best hero on the board at this point for TFT.
And that still gives them flexibility. The other reason these two are so good is because not only the Beast, but the Brewmaster can be a core or a support. Ranging from the 3 to the 5 position. A lot of flexibility there.
Yeah, and I like with the just with his crits now, I think the Brewmaster offers you a support that does have just a little bit of damage scaling as the game goes on as well. So he can threaten the enemy supports without his ulti up.
Well, the third pick
All right.
Undying. This is a hero that has been causing a lot of upset because it's not your old Undying where it's all on the early game and just the levels. He can now survive fights pretty well with the new Flesh Golem.
Absolutely. I think that's the flat HP bonus, 1600, by the way, at level 3, and even just a 400 flat HP bonus at level 6 makes this hero much more able to play in the middle of fights. And this is also why I like this open for Vega Squadron here. It gives away so little information. With the Undying now, you're threatening a much faster paced lineup. You're threatening a lineup that's going to be able to get on the enemy side of the map and disrupt this Terrorblade as he dips back into his own jungle to try and accelerate his farm.
That's going to be crucial here because that almost cost Vega the game last time. Is no matter how much pressure they applied to TB, it was seemingly never enough. They did the Bat Rider this time, right? So they got the BKB piercing ability.
Yeah, and it's looking more and more right. Your first 3 picks on the side of Vega are very utility oriented heroes, so it's looking like more and more farm and focus is going to be placed on the last 2 picks. So you pick the Bat Rider that gives you very strong laning, gives you the BKB piercing disable, benefits a lot if you can generate a vision advantage.
Definitely, and we'll see how he wants to approach it when we get into the game as well, because we did see Kezu rush a Blink Dagger and get active immediately. Now, the catch is whether Vega can force that same sort of panic. Well, I won't say panic, but you know, that rush, that need to be active that quickly, or if we'll see something more typical like the drum build for a Bat Rider.
What's a Bat Rider still craps on Beastmaster, right?
That
makes it.
He should do fairly decently. You can kite
if they do end up one. I'm trying to. This is senior moment here because I actually talked with a fairly good player about this lane not that long ago. I think Bat Rider still craps on Beastmaster, and that's true. It makes it a great lane. That's okay.
That deals with the Bat Rider.
It's a hard counter to the Bat. Like, wow.
Yeah, of course you can get rid of sticky napalms. We sometimes used to see, for example, Lifestealer coming out as a relatively hard counter because, of course, the duration on the cooldown for Rage. But you look at Slark, Dark Pack can be spammed pretty easily. Suddenly, Bat Rider is going to be threatened pretty heavily in this lane.
Yeah, of the heroes that they talk about, Bat Rider, you Lifestealers and Weaver sometimes gets put in that conversation, but I think the Slark is, of the 3, just makes Bat Rider's life so miserable because not only does he have the advantage in that lane if they're left alone, but he can get on the enemy side of the map and get kills on other heroes with that laning advantage pretty early on.
Do you want to do a quick restart on the cooldown?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
So excited for the last series, folks. We forgot to. We were just nerding out about it. All right, there we go. Just in time to see what's happening here. As the Kunkka ban does come out from TFT. Chessie says, I don't want it this time.
Yeah, and that's really smart, right? Because you talk about a hero that can just enable this Slark in fights and would be yet another counter to the Bat Rider with that X coming out. And the Rum buff. And the Tor. I mean.
And another one. Yeah, full stop. Don't want to go against this. Deals with the Brood, can deal with the TB, ruin the Bat Rider's day. Actually, we saw that come into effect before with the X's ending up breaking the lassos straight away.
So what are you worried about here as old school Slark counters?
Could look towards something like Alina, just to nuke him down straight away.
That is the number one hero I was thinking about.
Especially with the Kunkka ban being there, it looks suggestive that could be the way they go.
Yeah, this could be. I mean, this still could be Bat mid. I mean, I'm assuming this is going to be 3-position Bat and then Brewmaster in the support position, but you could easily pivot to the Bat mid.
This is the classic combo, Alan, that I was talking about when they originally made that change to Brewmaster. It was based on fire damage. Bat Rider Brewmaster lane. Let's go.
Oh, I am so glad they got rid of that. And that's a good ban. Okay. All right. That's a very good ban.
Get rid of the Meepo. They don't want to be snowballed. Not in this sort of scenario where it all comes down to this. Who continues and who just leaves.
Terribly. Like, I actually think you're still okay if they pick Meepo, because I think your lanes are going to be very, very strong. But you're right. It's the final game of a series that decides your life in the minor and potentially eventually the major, you don't want to get cheesed.
Especially when they have final pick and they take
There's
the Lina.
Yeah, that's what we expected. That's fine. They're gonna and it's even nicer that number one, it's a block pick because we talked about the Lina potentially against the Slark as well, and it threatens the TB with burst magic damage. That's a nice finish to the Vega Squadron draft. But do you think about against Slark? It's not ideal. Do you think about like a TA though if you're final tribe? No.
I don't like that here. I don't think I like it. I just think the hard lockdown Beastmaster as well is that you get quiet for a second, you're dead. It's very risky. It's high risk, high reward, and when you're in the final game and it's this close, I'm interested to see if they pivot that way.
Yeah, the big thing is I don't think your lanes are strong enough. Like the TA, if you pick it here, is just going to get rotated on. Like you only pick the TA against into the Lina matchup if you're super confident that that those two heroes are going to be left alone. But against a lineup that is going to be rotating into you much more so potentially than the reverse, I think that risk gets amplified.
I wonder if they want to experiment with the OD here. I'd be interested to see how its new form matches up against something like the Lina. You can disrupt her farm, of course, but if you ever have to defensively Astral, you're dead is the catch.
Right. And I could see it.
It's feasible. There's probably safer picks available to them, though. Of course, they can't go to the Tiny that Chessie loves so much that did get banned out in the second phase. They are eating up all their time. They're trying to work this out. I think the Slark especially threw a wrench in the works.
Yeah, I think they're thinking about the Slark. They're thinking about like PA. I think is still on the table, but mid PA Terrorblade seems a little weird. Yeah, and they're gonna go with the OD. This is fine. I don't love it, but again, my valuation of this hero has changed dramatically in the last couple of days. It can be very, very strong against the Slark. It can deal with the Lina in lane, although she is going to have kill potential on you, especially at potentially at level 6 if she gets there first. And I just think that this hero can be played a lot greedier than in previous patches. And we talk about TB as potentially a hero that wins its lane and then sort of stops. It has to keep hitting creeps. With the rework to the orb, I don't think that's possible. This is a hero that can play very, very greedy, push lanes, get on the enemy side of the map, potentially steal stacks.
I'm just going to say, tournament organizers call me now. I can do panels. I'm clearly capable of analysis as I predict that. I'm going to be happy about it. Right? In fairness, I don't think there was many more viable choices for TFT to go into.
Yeah, especially that we've seen from them in the past. I mean, we've seen OD from them twice in the last 8 games, twice in this particular qualifier. So we know that's in their hero pool. And when you talk about high pressure games like this, deciders, comfort is a factor.
Absolutely. And they need something that actually bridges this mid game where you can actually begin to snowball off 1 or 2 fights. And all you have to do by doing that, you don't have to continue that in the late game. That's eventually going to be the TB's job. And let's not forget, you talk about OD and the farm rate, you also think about Sandy's Eclipse against these squishy heroes like Lina, Slark, and Keeper of the Light.
Well, Lina ends up effectively pretty tanky against Eclipse as long as she doesn't get like a ton of orb stacks on her because she's just very high int gain. But yeah, that Slark getting caught in that can be a problem for sure.
Those are all lineups, folks. We're ready to get underway here. And everything to play for. Because, as we said at the start, whoever loses this is out. Done. No chance in the major. Won't even be at the minor.
Yeah.
Well, the winner of this, they got
big
hard
test of mental fortitude. When you talk about TFT, a team that probably feels right now like they should have won this series 2-0. When you talk about Vega, a team that's had to deal with a lot of potential distraction over the past week or so with the minor invite mini drama. When is this going to stop happening? I'm looking at you, Valve. But yeah,
I believe you can, if I remember correctly, there's a way, isn't it, by muting the players, you won't hear it. I think that's the case.
Stay frosty.
Are they ruining your thought process here, Alan?
No, absolutely not. I mean, we have this great line about maggots from Undying, which makes total sense.
I mean, the worst one is if they ever allow you to just spam the Timbersaw line where it's like a full power off about him killing trees. I like that line. I can never remember it fully, but when I ever hear it. Pexu.
Oh, Pexu got to be a little careful. He's just casually going onto the high ground as level 1 Undying. You are tanky, but there are limits to this.
Gonna keep chasing down here, but look at the trade on damage.
Napalm stacks, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Frost Armor, a little bit too late to have any real effect there. A lot of heroes from each side in the top lane, and Slark realizes he's all alone in the bot, actually.
Which
Pex is on 20 stacks. He's on 20 stacks already. Fight him at your own peril.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's an... Oh, Lord. Yeah, that's a 1200 HP Undying at level 1.
Fight me. He wants someone to fight him.
He just wants to hit somebody in the face.
It should be pointed out, Vega just got all of the runes.
And Frost has like 200 HP against this Undying that almost one-shots him. You know, he's like, but guys, I've got 15 armor. Yeah, well.
Vexu having the time of his life as he opens this up and just sets them back. They actually have to smoke just to get where they need to go quicker. And we said already this mid lane especially should be interesting to see how this one plays out. They can pressure each other fairly well. Of course, you can get right on top of Mage with that Astral and then just lock him. At the same time, you can never defensively Astral due to the risk of the Light Strike array.
Yeah, and you talk about so many of these Lina matchups. It's like old Queen of Pain was as well, boiled down to a race to level 6. When who's going to have that kill potential soonest. Does also have to decide. I see a little bit more potential for early rotations on the side of Vega.
That was the big worry when I looked at those supports. Like Lich can do something, but it's a little bit hard. At the same time,
well, it's a hell of a lot better now with Frost Shield. But
yeah, much easier, but still.
It's not the same as an Undying.
Exactly. You just nuke him down a little bit. Suddenly, Chessie has no HP. You can just casually Laguna him or Dragon Slave him away. Bot lane, Pexu is CSing right now, as Madara is going to walk top to try and get a favorable matchup here. Understanding he cannot lane against his Terrorblade.
Yeah, but that's a lot of wasted time in the first couple of minutes of the game for the Slark.
I don't think it's that significant of a problem. If you get one come from TFT, it's not like they're going to get a super bad matchup from the switch. I mean, yes, we talked about the Batrider, but it's like you don't find kills on that lane. You just don't get killed.
You know, it's great if you end up against Bat, too. Well, Chessie ends up a little bit low here in the mid lane. He's got a salve. He's going to be fine.
He'll heal up. It's all good. I think I'm gonna ruin his day. Of course, that does mean Lena's winning.
Does have to use the pounce defensively in the top.
That's costly as well. Big cooldown level 1 on 20 seconds. You can't aggress him hard because those dark packs, especially with the Coil here, you can easily always have the mana you need. They're going to go in right now, though. They're blocking off any escape with the pounce here. He will find a way out, but barely. Hans can almost sidestep that.
Yeah, and this is a bad sign as the Slark lane that you're the one getting gone.
You have to apply that early aggression. You can't let him just sit back and farm, and Batrider can easily apply that aggression. It also means that you end up in a scenario where as this Keeper of the Light, you can already see he's got 3 mangoes because he knows he'll always have to give the chakra across to the Slark.
Interesting little move here by Pexu TPing back up at the top shrine. Maybe trying to catch him a little bit off guard here.
It's big ass though. Look at Hansen already fighting.
Straight swap. That's fine.
Yeah, it should be. I'm going to try and give the Beastmaster a little something and then try and see if Pexu can just duke it out with him. Attack real hard. Could work better, but that does mean Madara is going to have to pick up that one quickly as you see. Because otherwise, you're going to run out of mana real fast. Chessie already falling behind the mid lane. Yeah, you were getting to that as well, right?
Exactly. The Mage lane is starting to open up a little bit of a gap here.
Ansgun, the pounce is on him here, but Jonas fan arriving, it won't matter. The decay comes out, they get the kill, and Jonas, he needs to make his escape now.
Yeah, that's 4 stacks of napalm, but that's an Undying. Any other hero there is super worried.
He, on the other hand, just wants to fight in these early levels, especially in a 2-on-2 scenario. It's very hard to beat that.
Dara getting a little bit low here.
Ansgun moving across. He has got the clap. They have got the pounce to get away. Just exploiting the limitations of the map.
That's actually pretty easy to screw up if you pounce from that angle. Well, okay, that's never mind. Maybe that's just if you're me.
It's much harder these days. It doesn't tend to bring you back. It'll look for the like closest location, so it's kind of here.
Yeah, I've ended up pouncing like 3 feet so many times from that position, but that's you can't rule out that might be just because I'm bad.
Yeah, Alan, you need to pounce to the right, not to the left. Please. Well, mid lane, Chessie, at this rate, he's going to lose this race to 6.
Yeah, he'll lose the race to 6, but it's not going to be by much. And the CS gap is there, but it's not growing like you fear.
Yeah, stabilizing the stage. And runes, looks like it's going to be 2 apiece here.
Oh, a little lot. Madara, they've been doing a good job keeping the harass on Madara, and they might get Pexu here as a little bit of collateral damage.
Yep, this is the other catch with the sticky napalm up against the Undying, is you have to turn around with those decays. It takes a while, but they finally get the kill. Mage was coming across, he's like, I'll save. No, you're gone.
No. Alright, and he does have his Laguna now, with a slight window before the Sanity's online.
Yeah, but Double Null does tank up Chessie enough that he should be okay here. Unless he gets nuked down to like 2/3. Bot lane has been pretty quiet so far, but you can already see Frost off to a good start up against this Beastmaster. It shouldn't slow down.
Pinging out. Wanted the boar slow there, so that eliminate my connect. He's smoked up.
He's just trying to get the runes. Picks up a haste. Arrow didn't even see it though. It'll seem there's something there, you just don't know what it is.
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do with this Roman Coddle.
That's kind of the crux. Is this hero just is more about giving people mana so they can do things, and then just shoving lanes and eventually getting your ultimate and being a mini black hole.
When we talked about the roaming potential, Tombstone goes down in the top lane.
Dara, though, he's going to turn around towards Hanskin. He's trying to get his hands on this Tombstone. He will get the final hit, trying to move away the Drunken Brawler. It's going to be close. The pounce blocked by Jonas and Panda, but it doesn't matter.
Oh.
They get the final touch.
Jonason's him too.
He's getting pretty low, and Madara will be happy with that as he's finally getting a little bit of permanent agi gain. This double Wraith fans. This is the type of hero that loves this scenario. Already up to 82 damage.
Absolutely. Still doesn't feel quite as bad as the +2 by Silencer, but yeah.
But then again, this hero is a lot harder to kill than Silencer.
This is true.
It's for balance, Alan. We have plenty of it in the Dota land.
And you're finally starting to see this matchup advantage that the Slark has against the Batrider really come to fruition. You know, Hanskin had been doing a pretty good job of equalizing things in the top lane so that Jonas had been a little bit able to zone Madara off the creep waves, but no longer. He's about to have his ult.
Yeah, it's becoming problematic right now, and the pounce coming in. Jonas has been found. He's going to try and move 8 Ks on him. They've got the Soul Rip. We'll get him low. He Fairy Fires up to make sure it's not too close. Dara doesn't care, though, because he's forcing him to always be on the defensive with that Firefly. And he can't even farm with it. Jonas?
Oh, I don't
he's
know
stacking
if you
up.
chase here, buddy.
Yeah, Pexu. He's run out of mana. He'll turn around, drops the Tombstone. That will zone them off.
Okay.
But Dara chasing him, wants to be a little bit careful here. He's getting low. He's got a big fat one, though.
And you get the zombies helping you farm up this stack. Nice.
Works out. Has plans. Wink, wink. But you can already see it, actually. Very close to 6. The next creep wave will give it across to Madara, who is now pouncing on the Hanskin here. We'll turn around with the Drunk Brawler. And suddenly, the Slark doesn't want to fight. Yep, Jonas TP's across. He has got the Firefly. Madara will cut the tree. Big Napalm to slow him down a little bit. We're going to move full Flame Break to push him back. Dark Pack comes out, but he's not moving quick enough. Now the Cinder Brew as well. That is a greedy Slark being made to pay the price.
Yeah, just too much. As Pexu's already having to walk back to base. Oh, action on the bottom lane. Jeez.
Mage rotation. He finds a kill here. Yeah. As Chessie's left alone to farm in the mid. And he look. Speaking of farm, look at this. Almost 1,000 gold over this OD. Mage is accelerating.
Yeah. And he gives up, you know, he's going to give up a creep wave's worth of damage to his tier 1. But again, that is one of the weaknesses of OD, that even with the Splash Astral you have to worry about. He'll be able to dip back into his own jungle and farm a little more efficiently, but he still can't put the same kind of damage on the tower that a lot of the other mids would.
I'm gonna look out if he mistimed the equilibrium there. He seemed to lose more mana than expected. He's only got this, so this is different. I've seen usually it's a 2, 4, then 2 equilibrium build. by 8. Instead, he's put 3 points in the Arcane Orb, which I kind of understand against another int hero. He just wants to reduce that damage, that mana pool.
Yeah, meanwhile, the utility Vlad's online for this Beastmaster, looking to sustain the pressure that they've already got on the dire side of the map, taking on the tier 1 tower.
Just at the same time, making sure the TB doesn't farm too fast, because he is still doing fairly good for the side of TFT. Now that Slark has 6, this is where he doesn't really struggle as much. There's not an easy way of locking him down.
Oh. Yeah, he's just his game is way more stress-free now.
Jonas moving around the side, gonna push them back. Now they're stuck in the fire. Gar gonna try and sidestep. Pap's gonna be there. They turn around the Hanskin. He's moving pretty fast, but Mage, he is also fast as Lina. Hanskin, he'll be close, but with the wind lace and the boots, not even the zombies can touch him. And while that's happening, actually, maybe next time goes down the bot lane. He's pretty deep there. They finally catch up with Hanskin, though. They will find the return kill. Mage was getting fed up. He says, just give me that.
Yeah, and Yunus played that very, very cautiously. I mean, it felt to me like he might have been able to go on Pexu as he climbed up from the river there.
He was reluctant, though, because they know there's a Laguna available.
Respecting the burst damage to the Lina. Yeah, exactly right.
Thus, they will let have this tower as well. Although they have to coming in. He's got the split available. Glyph does come out. Odeon on his way as well. They're moving forward. They can't see the Lina. They can't find Madara. They'll be able to find Pexu trying to TP out here. They should have enough damage to burn it through. No, he's going to live, though. The new flesh golem pays off. They'll at least find the kill on the Mage.
Oh, God, that's such a huge win, though. That Lina, again, the Lina going down. She's the most farmed hero on the map.
And Jonas, he is 6, but he didn't take a point into the lasso.
And they get the tower deny.
They do. Oh, nicely done by TFT. They need to strike back like that. Lina, oh, definitely the most valuable player in the game right now. At least a kill.
And we talk about Mage just needing to play a little bit more carefully in these situations.
Don't respect the split that comes out, but sometimes it's easy to lose track of that when you're talking about a support Brewmaster. But then again, when you're Lich, when the Lich is level 6, when your Undying's level 6, you got to assume that he's there.
I just like that this Beastmaster Kato combination. Just look how much they're able to put.
Pounce through. They found him here. Light Strike Array will connect with the body block. Wow. And they should be able to get the kill. Madara has to use he almost can't. No, he almost dies to the Silence Eclipse there. He uses Shadow Dance just in time. Chessie's going to chase on here, but he knows he can't pursue.
As the dueling ultimates come out, Madara, and he's going to regen up immediately from Shadow Dance.
A little bit too close to comfort, and you see it immediately go into strength treads, and that's where he'll stay for the rest of the game.
But here's the magic. You know, I was making a tangential point. We almost missed that. But here's the magic of this Beastmaster Kala combo. Meanwhile, while all that's happening in the jungle, the tier 1 mid tower is going down, and there's a lot of pressure on this lane.
Absolutely. Beastmaster's being left to his own devices. Now has the Vlads. Eventually, they'll be looking towards Roche. You give a Slark or a Lina and Aegis at this stage in the game, ay caramba, they're coming for your Tars.
Yeah, so Kezi wants to continue the pressure they're putting on bottom here. You know, he's saying M&T, just keep going, buddy.
Do what you want. Jonas has finally taken a point in the last year, but they know he does not have the blink because he stopped off with the ball. And the raindrop slows down that progress. It's invasion coming out from Vega. The confidence as they just walk up. This is our jungle now, they say. They're just trying to stave off anywhere that TFT can farm.
And they've already got a decent economy advantage on the back of these 3 tier 1 towers. I mean, 3-0 tower advantage at this stage of the game. Very significant.
Should be pointed out, Madara getting ever closer to that Shadow Blade. At which stage this map starts to feel incredibly small for the side of Final Tribes.
That's where you start to worry as Final Tribe is that when you're already playing on a small map before Slark has a Shadow Blade. That means you're that much more vulnerable to those pickoffs that you know are coming.
You have to play around this split, especially that Hanskin has. They need to get some value out of it soon because you can't allow this mid-game to pass with just TB farm. This is not one of those type of games where you can just go TB late game. He's got this. There are awkward things to worry about, especially that Slark, who is now looking to help out with the Roche as the medallion pickup ensures they can take this quickly.
How is he going down that fast?
DD, did you miss that detail? I know there's a clarity there as well, but Your favorite
Kill
rune.
me now. All right, this is just a change that needs to be made. These
And a
DD
haste.
runes need to be 50% on Roche and on Structure.
He has a haste as well. Laguna. They're going to find Hanskin. No, he gets a little bit drunk, a little bit tipsy, but it's not enough.
Okay, he elects not to use the split defensively there with the rest of his team out of position. Well, not out of position, but not in position to back him up.
Yeah, he's basically, it's not that big of a respawn time, so he knows keeping that split available to them is a deterrent from Vega committing too hard. As soon as that split's used, what's your team fight here? You got Lasso, but with an Aegis now sitting on Lina, your game just became 10 times harder.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm not sure that TFT was in a great position to contest that Roche, even had the DD rune not been there, but that just, it rules out any possibility of them defending. That's a huge momentum swing with Slark just finishing his Shadow Blade.
Madara, let's be a little bit careful here. As you say, he's got his Shadow Blade now. Still has to respect the damage they do, and if he was to get called out, for example, by an Astral, well, we saw how close to death he came last time a Silence Eclipse dropped on his head.
Yeah, that's the power of those double Wraith bands, which we wouldn't necessarily have seen in previous patches.
Saves his life, keeps him alive, makes sure this fish is a very smart boy. Or smart enough not to die in one hit.
Oh, action down
Lasso.
bottom here.
They find the Keeper of the Light, they drag him in. Ignis is going to be there trying to escape, but he needs to get out of the
He's not
fire.
even gonna die.
No, he is. He walks back into the Firefly. Maybe next time.
Was he dotted up already there? Because
He wouldn't have died to it.
yeah, Flame Break was on CD and he had napalm stacks. That's fine, but he was standing in the Firefly. It looked really weird.
Yep.
Meanwhile, potential for a bigger engagement developing up here.
No, in the mid lane. Look at this. Madara. He's found Hanskin here. He's going to move in. There it is. He's got the pounce. Hanskin can use the Drunken Brawl trying to move away.
Oh, and he has no mana. He has no mana.
Yeah, he can't use the split, but at the same time, Madara not able to go for those solo pickoffs right now. Drunken Brawler movement speed plus miss chance keeps Beast
Yeah, he had
the Brimross
14
alive.
stick charges. He could have used that and split it up if he really wanted to. But again, he's trying to hold that. He understands you have so little leeway right now in this position that you're in Final Tribe. If you use split and you give away 2 of those tier 2 towers, you're in such an untenable position. It's much better. Now you have the Batrider Blink. Brewmaster core support, the principle is the same. You never want to be the first hero into these fights. Now that you have a primary initiator in the Batrider with the Blink Dagger online, that's where you want to commit the split.
Absolutely. You're in this stage where if you use a split efficiently, you lose at least 2 towers, and you just feed the momentum. And now Vega trying to go in here. Light Strike Array connects on OD. Laguna will get him low. He's gone.
God, OD's
The split
down.
too late. Now the Frost Armor is there. Mage chasing on with the Primal Roar on the back foot. Look at this stab here. Eric getting low. Kezu decides against it. Frost Armor with the Reflection going to chase on the Pexu, but Mage still alive here. Only 1 Panda left. They will find Pexu on the side as he just gets split up from his team. The buyback is out from OD, but they can't find anything additional.
Oh, Chessie might have had an opening just to drop the naked sanities there, but I think the damage wouldn't quite have been there onto Mage. It is level 2 ult.
I mean, it's an Aegis as well, so you get that once the Silence Eclipse is gone.
He's got it.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. Madara just goes in the stage. As soon as Silence Eclipse is down, he's not that threat. And
Yeah,
speaking of that,
I don't know why I thought they'd put it on.
Oh,
the
yours.
That's a good call.
Mage, Light Strike Array, the lasso too late. Now Ignis, perfectly placed, moving in Madara. He can't move when the Chain Frost gets him with the Silence Eclipse. Astral used defensively, Lich already down. Chain Frost to bounce over to Kezu. Chessie will make his escape. The Aegis has been reclaimed. Frost moving in with Reflection. He's in the middle of a mess. Can he do enough damage? No Metamorphosis for 30. Goes to the Light Strike Array and Mage will go down. Now the Chain's pulled for more. Hexu has to stand and fight, and even with the Flesh Golem HP, it's not enough. You just feed the into Chessie's arms.
Yeah, and this is why I had kind of assumed that they had put the Aegis onto the Slark and not the Lina, because Slark, when he dies in a fight and respawns, he's still got Pounce, he's still got his ulti and the Shadow Blade, he's got the tools to still influence what's going on. More often than not at this stage of the game, when a Lina dies in the middle of a fight like that, she's just going to die again.
And it should be highlighted, but that was probably the best Will-O-Wisp ult you're going to see probably today.
Oh, yeah.
And it done nothing. It done nothing for them. They couldn't turn on it.
I love the placement, and that's why I called it out during the fight. But by that time, it had just gone too strongly against them.
Although it should be pointed out, one certain caster. Lyrical suggested we all need to start calling this the Disco Ball. It's not the Will-O-Wisp.
I'm down. I'm absolutely down. If we get if we get Leshrac in the same game.
Yeah, what do you do then? That's the problem.
Big time Disco Pony.
Yeah, but then like, you know, he's got his own Disco Ball, so then you can't talk about the taunt. I think Gabe hasn't thought this out enough.
You can never have too many disco balls, Frank.
That's right. You can always party harder. Especially if you have other heroes that have dancing taunts. It fits. I can see it. So disco balls from now on. Or if you say Fatus in a very kind of, aggressive way.
Oh, the smoke play here coming out from the side of TFT. I'd like to see Vega try and get something out of the Shadow Blade reveal on Mage.
Well, they need something soon. Can they find things with smoke? Madara? It's a target.
Yes.
They get the lasso. Nope. Shadow Blade. Actually use the Dark Pact. They're going to move in now. Shadow Dance gets forced out. Can he escape? He's going to go for the TP away. They have no way of stopping this. No. The lasso under the creep.
What?
Whoopsie.
Oh, no.
Maybe they find Pex, who's a consolation prize, but the kiss comes out. Maybe next time. His name says it all. Pex with the Golem. Going to slow things down. Tombstone. Four staff trying to get him away. Blind coming out from maybe next time. They might try and turn around. Mage moving in. English Fatus is there. Jonas and Fan in a little bit of trouble. The primary raw used. China's going for more. They'll be able to find it. They get rid of both the Batrider and the Brewmaster.
Now TFT in full retreat. They need at least one more kill on the backside on Era.
That's not a quick retreat. Era, the zombies revealed everything. He'll be burned up to a crisp as Mage gets himself a double kill.
Yeah, ends up being super key to that fight. That not only did Pexu get the tombstone down in the retreat, but you had an immediate blinding light by Coddle coming out in support of it from the high ground, which meant it's kind of like the old, Tinker Phoenix meme strat that all of a sudden you can't deal with this big high priority target in the middle of your team.
And this is the type of lineup that when you make that mistake, look at the punishment that comes with that Beastmaster rather in your lineup. You can immediately just take a tower. Kezi will stand back a moment. He did go for the Necro books. Sees everything. There's a banish on the slug. Caught him with the Astral. And they follow up. Shadow Dance comes out. He's not trying his luck against Science Clip. Now the Chain Frost bounces through.
Barely
the
connects.
Drags Kezi back. The movement forward. They're going to push Mage back as well. He's got Shadow Blade in 2 seconds. He needs it. Full staff. Nicely dodged by Jonas and Fan. The dust reveal. And Mage has no way out. This Lena will go down. He's actually winding up the Laguna. He won error.
I think he got that Chain Frost was at max range, bounced off of Kezu, and barely clipped the Lena there at the very beginning of the fight. And if not for the little mini slow coming out for that, I think she might have been away.
Jesse. I'm liking this Blink Dagger. I'm saying it used to be an item we'd see a lot on OD. It was like the Hurricane Pike Blink Dagger, and more recently with the most recent patch when we've been seeing ODs, it's never been an item we see considered.
Honestly, I have always been of the opinion that in the hands of a sufficiently skilled player, Blink Dagger is never a bad item purchase.
Got it. So if I get good at the game, I can justify anti-Mage Blink Dagger. Good to know.
You got to get good first. You got to get good first.
I'm getting there. Slowly. Top 3,000 UK, Kappa. But they'll back off. They say that's enough. That opens up the map a little bit. That tier 1 fallen now.
Big time. Next
Roche is anyone's game.
Yeah, you feel so much better about that now. I mean, that's a little bit of extra breathing room for Frost. He's already got his BKB up. When we haven't talked about this Terrorblades item progression, he's a legitimate force right now. They do not have to wait to take fights behind him.
That's why I like the BKB coming out for us this game. It just enables him to go and fight. Hard to stand up against that right now. You've got Lena going for a BKB of her own, and of course Slark.
Yeah.
Screw BKBs. It's all about that Lincolns.
Yeah, that was one of the really nice things. Yeah, you stalled out a little bit in that last engagement, but that first fight in the Radiant Jungle right after Shadowblade got you about halfway to BKB by itself on this Lena. That's the kind of, when we talk about acceleration, that's it. It doesn't always have to come off of hitting creeps.
Sometimes hitting heroes is a solution. If CIS's Dota has taught me anything, it's that. EU Dota, maybe taking notes on this. Smoke play out from TFT.
Oh, nice play here. This is like one of the best areas of the map for Dire to contest.
As Kips would always refer to it, the old format of the map at least, it was the OG high ground.
That is the fly zone up there. It absolutely is. One of the two big sort of broad contributions that he's made to Dota Theory. One is the importance of being able to lane shove as a support, and the idea that you can so effectively contest the enemy safe lane by doing that. And the other is the idea of establishing control of that area of the map as Dire.
Both, especially crucial here that they get down this ward on the shrine. Although, sadly for them, there was a sentry on the high ground, which I thought they might have anticipated and put it... Well, not here. I think here would have been probably best vision.
Yeah, you can see both teams forming up here, anticipating the next Roche respawn. Vega recognizing they have to establish some kind of control over their own high ground before that happens.
Absolutely. In the meantime, with our own move bot to shove that in. Of course, you can TP to the shrine if a fight happens there. And the other thing is Vega have constant vision of that pit courtesy of the Hawks.
Well, they did get the last Hawk, which was nice, but...
Just makes it obvious what you want to do.
Exactly.
Moving in. Astral's there. Peck through the entering skill. Not the best one, but they can get it. He's got the flesh golem. They're not even trying to contest this. They say that's a very dead undying. See you later.
Oh, but he doesn't have buyback.
Doesn't. That's actually crucial here. They'll walk in.
300 gold short, and this is going to be a free Roche as a result.
You can already see the moment that happened, TFT's movement into the pit, and then Vega just go...
Okay, no, he got it there.
All right, there we
very
go.
last moment.
Just in time. Can they defend this? They're charging up the Illuminate. That's a lot of damage on these heroes. Enough on the back foot. Pounce comes out. Error. He's been found. Entrance killer cheat. And they find more splits going to be there. Ignis Fires drop. The disco ball's down. Mage trying to move away. The full stuff will get away. Now the BKB activating Frost. He needs a fight. Madara charging in here. Wants to fight up against this. He still has a Shadow Dance to work with, and Frost needs to be careful. Because if he isn't careful, Shadow Dance will come out and there won't be a Thunder target. Has to use it early on the Pexu. Should get the kill there, but Madara is stacking up the Agi the whole time because that's the fight that matters. Mage control in the meantime. Frost is trying to kite out here, but he's down. They find the kill there, and all the while that was happening, Kezu, he forced a response back at base as they took a tier 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Hanskin will get found as well. One after another. As Vega, they take 3 big kills there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really anything on top of the, the Roche contest turns it into a draw, and anything on top of the TB going down there is gravy.
They might go into the pit now.
I don't think you can afford to buy back on TB at this point. I think you got to let this Aegis go.
If you do, you forfeit your gold lead, and it's too late anyway. The speed at which they take Roche with the medallion, with the Vlads, we saw it before. And, Jonas! They caught him with the Yules! Oh no, light striker rate. Even Laguna to make sure no time is wasted. Especially seeing as he's efficient with that arcane route.
That was actually a lot closer than it looked though, because the first click on the Aegis was with a full inventory. That was super close to being a pretty big play.
Mage went, whoops, you mean me? Did manage to pull out the null in time to pick up the Aegis. And now Vega, they are swiftly taking control of the map here. The final out of town might fall soon, and they've already lost to tier 3. So Vega likely to sweep through, take out these shrines to make sure there's no backstab attempts. Yeah,
and TFT, you just got to feel a little bit demoralized at this point. You had game 2 in the bag. Now things going against you here in game 3. Very important to reset and take a smart fight.
Yeah, they're on the prowl. They're looking for TB. He's already back in base, though. They're just going to take their time, maybe look towards the next pickup in terms of items. And, well, this blink, or maybe next time, could be big. We've seen these blinding lights and what they can do in the fights.
Yeah.
Same with Kezu, actually. I think they're waiting on both blinks before they attempt high ground here.
I think that's very smart. Of course, Hasterin isn't going to hurt on your Slark either.
Yeah, fishy. I don't think he's going to find anything, though. Just illusions pushing out in the meantime. As TFT, they're going to remain composed. They know they can't go out the base looking for a pickoff right now. They just have to surrender their shrines as much as they'd love not to.
Well, and it hurts a little bit less because your TB's build is such that, he can already fight. But, I mean, his progression, you have to take a fight outside your base or your TB is just really going to be crippled.
You also have to make sure Vega's committed, or you can definitely get 1 or 2 kills, because if Metamorphosis gets used and you don't get anything out of it, they'll go straight for your high ground.
Absolutely.
Moving in, Hanskin found with the Primal Roar here. That's a perfect pickoff for them. They're pushing back to make sure there's no escape as he does go down. He does at least have buyback. It's crucial here. Meanwhile, another kill. Jonas on the other side of the map. He'll get away. All stuff does work against Leash now.
Yeah, that was a Slark was like 60% win rate in pubs before that happened.
What you get for being a Batrider spammer. Rules dictate, things must be punished. Slark He's not being punished for this. He's gone for a moonshot.
Yeah, just nice methodical play coming out here on the side of Vega. We're just kind of collecting, getting all the waves in our favor before we try and pressure that Radiant base, that Dire base, making sure that even if the fight is close, we have the potential for multiple lanes of racks.
Frost might be forced to BKB here. They're moving in. There it is. They actually do drop the Will-O-Wisp, though.
Okay.
That actually matters, because even if you get the BKB off after the first one, I think you might die there. Definitely would have been very close.
Yeah, I don't mind it by MNT, but definitely if you see TB BKB there and that's still up, I think you're full go. But again, this is the same problem that we had with TFT's decision in the last one to force base, knowing that high ground, knowing that their buybacks were down after that Roche fight. You have all the time in the world here as Vega. TB's not gonna outfarm you with the map looking like this.
But right now, the way TFT is playing, they've just activated Benny Hill's theme tune as Vega is chasing him around the map. Can they find someone now? Primal around Nahaz, that's a good target. They'll only be kept so long for so long with the evasion on the side, though. Astral used defensively. There's going to be a Lassie trying to get lead on the high ground. Will be able to do so as they blink away. They say, Mage, stay. Bad boy. Fly back out on the Brewmaster in the meantime.
Oh, man.
They're chasing. They actually see the OD. The Yule's going to be there. They charge up the Lunate. Astral U's just trying to escape. Chessie has got the Blink Dagger coming off cooldown. He needs to reach the side store and get a TP and get out. A little bit too close for comfort.
Yeah, they're not going to try and chase that.
But they have slowed up the team. And Bandara realizes it as he backs off in the mid. He hangs around too long. Chessie? Is he going to try for the cheeky play here? He wants to see if MNT is committed to pushing this.
That is... The risk return is not there.
Depends how much you hate Cottles right now with their new disco balls.
Well, there's a fair amount, yes, but even so. A lot of moves at this point that if this isn't an elimination game that you maybe...
He's at least making these aggressive plays on the back that he's always saving for buyback. That might change now that he's gone full in on the BKB. And look at this smoke. TFT know that Roche is going to be reclaimed soon.
And we know the angle that they want to take. Arrow wants to come around from the side here potentially and threaten the high ground.
What did I say about Roche? That's already been reclaimed. Well, it's going to be up in 3 minutes.
But this is good anticipation, looking both sides, understanding the angle that the other wants to take.
Yeah, you see the move. Vega says, go around wide. We need to meet up with our supports here. No, we seem strong, but it's actually a lie, distraction. Because Beastmaster, Undying, and of course the Call give them so much ability to stay in this fight as these last cannons.
Yeah, that's actually a super sick read by Vega there. Not only the read, but playing in formation around that smoke attempt. Again, we talk about this, smoke attempts out of the base, much easier to read. That's part of the disadvantage. They are Hail Marys.
This one doesn't land. Instead, pressure continues as Vega just makes sure the lanes are shoved in. Although, all the while, any given point, TFT have this bot lane pushing out. Yules, they find a target here. Hands good. They don't time the blind light right. But they have got the Astral BKB from Chessie to try and protect. Doesn't want to fight this though. Too many heroes. Split's going to come out. Now the Silence clears with the BKB already has made. Going to be fine. Going to turn around the Shadow Dance. Madara, he uses the easier target. Goes on to the Brew. The Yule's coming out. There's the stun. Chody's been brought out. Chessie is going to go down. Now the Ignis to control up. Era can't move away. The Chain Frost bouncing around, but they're so tanky they don't care. They finally get rid of the Brew illusions, and they'll be able to chase for more. They'll find the kill on the Lich. 3 down. Oof. Base is an open wine for the side of Vegas. They just get on that high ground. They'll hit on the buildings.
Yeah, I mean, Frost's move right there is just to disengage and TP back to his base. It's terribly having no influence on the fight whatsoever.
And that's Metamorphosis almost running out. Once that's down, how do you fight into 5 right now?
Exactly. He had to pop meta for that fight.
It should also be pointed out, remember, that was the buyout by OD on the BKB. And they'll realize this.
If they know that, this is very possibly game. Again, it's an elimination game. You maybe don't hard commit as much as you would.
They're just waiting for the creep wave.
It's also Madara, though.
Look at the move. They know. Yeah. There's no way you give up that mid lane for free if you have a buyback in your OD. This could easily be mega creeps. Gonna move in. Yours is coming out. The Yonson fan. They can't catch him. They force him away, though. They'll go back to hitting the buildings. TFT.
Still got 30 seconds.
Can they hit the buildings quick enough is a question, or are they going to get out? They're deciding right now. They're going to go. It's a bold move, but if it pays off, the game is as good as done. Now down already. They use the tombstone to scare him off. BKB Frost trying to move in. They didn't get last now. Primal Roar split up. Chain Frost bounces across Frost, trying to find his mage. The Laguna will get the kill. Jonas Fan can't move away himself. The buyback comes out from Batrider. And Lina is down and out of the fight for 80 seconds. And they get him out reflection there. Madara, he finishes off the racks. He'll make his escape. That is a price they're willing to pay. They'll even leave behind Pex, who's a bonus. But now you got Mega Creeps to deal with.
But Lina, just by the skin of her teeth, ends up having buyback after the Rax Gold comes in. So they're not vulnerable to counter push.
Yep, she does just secure that. And, well, if this does drag out, it's looking grim for the side of TFT. But we've seen this before with the OD pick. You can push out these lanes.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I really liked the idea that, okay, I mean, TFT are going to try and... you can't even really call it sneaking a rush at this point.
Well, because you can talk about Wundara, Don. He sneaks in a kill in the area here, and he's already on his way to the pit. They might be able to actually interrupt this. This is nowhere near quick enough from TFT.
That clock has got to be ticking in your head here.
Madara, he's thinking twice. He's saying, do we get back in this? Can we get back in this? They don't have the Primal Roar available. It's now coming off cooldown. They'll move in. The buyback comes out from Lina. Now they're going BKB from Chessie. The BKB from Frost won't be enough. Madara with the Shadow Dance gets the kill. The Primal Roar out of OD as well. It's looking all over for TFT. The split doesn't achieve anything here. And that may decide it. GG comes out. TFT no whistle over Vega. Keep their dreams alive as they will be looking pretty hot going into the next series against Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, absolutely solid all-around play coming out from Vega in this game. I just love, they were very methodical throughout, from start to finish, from peeling back those 3 tier 1 towers, taking advantage of the sustained pressure of the Beastmaster Coddle, which was their opening in that draft, and just really never letting TFT control their own side of the map.
Absolutely. And TFT, well, we said how they're going to feel coming in this game, because the second game, it was theirs to lose the state they left it in. And you see Vega just come out of the gate swinging, and they never let up.
Yeah, I'm sure I know these guys, a lot of them personally. I mean, I coached Chessie and Hanskin, and they're great players. They're veterans, and they got to be tremendously disappointed, because that's a game 2 that arguably they should have won. I mean, they didn't fall apart in this game. They had a plan behind the Terrorblade. I liked that he went for a more early game focused build, but it's too much map control given up too early. When you lose those 3 tier 1s, even before the Shadowblade comes online with the Slark, it's even if he's not finding the pickoffs, you're having to play so much more carefully and less efficiently as a result.
Does mean we know what our final series is going to be for today, though, Nahaz. We're going to go for a short break before it commences, but we are going to have Vega Squadron versus Ninjas in Pajamas, and this decides the second team that will be repping the EU region at the Bucharest minor main event.
Yeah, I believe that's a rematch. That's a rematch of the very first series that we had in EU, is it not? I mean, this is one of the teams that sent NIP packing before the playoff phase in that major qualifier. So a little bit of revenge, and NIP looked super confident against Vega yesterday. So they've got their work cut out for them.
Well, we're going to go to a break now, but we will be back in a little bit for that series. And honestly, I wouldn't want to miss it if I was you. You never know. Vega could upset here. NIP definitely the favorites, but Vega carrying through the momentum. Stay tuned, folks.